So next, the carriage of DG is managed with the strictest compliances with international regulations that have been adopted by the aviation industry. So the DG, which is when we are transporting in an aircraft, we must follow certain regulation, which is no other no other changes in the rules and all. We must strictly follow the certain rules and regulations which is followed by this IATA DGR. Next is responsibility when we are transporting in an aircraft. That is, responsibility is taken by the persons who is involving in the dangerous goods, who is transporting in aircraft. What are the responsibility we can see here? So first we can see shipper. So what is the shipper's responsibility? A shipper must comply, must follow strictly, fully with the regulation when offering a consignment of DG to an IATA member and to airline participating in IATA interline agreements. So as per the interline agreement, shipper must follow certain things, certain rules and regulations which is implied by the IATA regulation DGR. So shippers is the responsibility is very high because he is the person who is transporting this DG. So the main responsibility comes under his head. So he must definitely follow this rules and regulations. Shippers' responsibilities include, what are the main responsibility include for shipper? So first one is classification, second one is packing, third one is labeling, fourth one is marking, and fifth one is completion and signature on documentation. This is what the main responsibility which comes under shipper. Okay, because each DG must classified accordingly according to the 9 classes, and it must be packing properly. It must package according to the classification, according to the DGR. It must packed properly. Third one, without labeling, we can't understand what all DGs comes under which all classes. So labeling is a must thing. Next thing, fourth one is marking. That is also another important part because without marking, we can't understand how it should be kept inside an aircraft during the takeoff, during the landing time, how it will be, whether it will get spilled or whether it will get leakage or whether the temperature should maintain. Excuse me, everything should be marked properly, and completion and signature on the documentation. Why? Because he is the person who is taking responsibility for all this carriage of dangerous goods. Okay, next person or next category of people who is including in this main responsibility of this DG, that is operator or airline responsibility. The operator or the airline is taking in charge of ready to carry this DG, which is also having certain responsibility. We can see airlines or operators responsibility in transporting DG. An operator must comply with the following requirements. They must follow or they must follow certain requirements. First one is acceptance. They can choose whether they want to accept it or not. If yes, there are certain conditions. Second one, storage. The DG is the main fragile or such an important consignment which should give proper attention, should storage in such a secured place. Third one is loading. Loading, and the certain precaution should be taken during the time of loading. Inspection, regular inspection should be maintained. Fifth one, reporting. According to the condition, we must report accordingly. Training, the people or the persons who are involving in this handling of this DG must give proper training. Retention of records. Okay, all the records must be maintained properly. PGSAs, that is passenger ground service agents, help the operating airline comply with the above requirements when dealing with passenger and baggage containing dangerous goods. So the passenger service agents help the operating airlines, particular airlines, with the above requirements when dealing with this passenger and baggage. If the passenger is taking certain items like this DG, they must also, this passenger service agents also helping whether they are following it or not. So all these things, these are the main responsibility comes under an airline part. So we can see, so acceptability, the main responsibility. Next coming prohibition. So what is prohibition? There are certain condition, that is we have to prohibit certain dangerous goods. Okay, let's see. There are also prohibition on the carriage of DG. Some have been identified as being too dangerous to be carried on any aircraft under any circumstances, example grenades and bombs, etc. So what all purpose it may be in a good purpose that we are transporting grenades, it's not possible at all. It should be taken in an aircraft. That condition, we can see the condition 1, that cannot be taken in an aircraft. Second one, others are forbidden under normal circumstances but may be carried with specific approval from the state concerned. If the certain government is approved, that is okay, it can be carried under DGC or FA regulation or otherwise in certain particular state concern, we can carry certain DG, that is forbidden under normal circumstances. They may allow to carry in an aircraft but under certain conditions. The next stage, that is some are restricted to be carried or can only be transported on cargo aircraft. So certain cargo DGs are there which cannot be taken, I told you, like paints and all, which cannot be taken in passenger flight but we can take in a cargo aircraft. That type of DGs comes under this thing, this restricted. Okay, there are restricted conditions are there. So to be carried. So that comes under this. Some are restricted to be carried or can only be transported on cargo aircraft. Okay, and finally, some can be safely carried on passenger aircraft. Sometimes it can be carried in passenger aircraft also. Like I told you, like dry ice. Dry ice can be taken in a certain quantities that we can be allowed in the normal passenger flight also, provided certain requirements based on IATA DGR are met. These are all acceptable only when the DGR is met, because IATA DGR is the manual which is giving the entire details how it should be transported. If the regulations, if the conditions are met, then we can transport in an aircraft. Okay. The next coming to packaging. So what is packaging? We already discussed that without proper packaging, without proper labeling, without proper marking, we can't take a DG into an aircraft. So first one is packaging. Packaging is an essential component in the safe transport of dangerous goods by air. That is a very, very important component, because for each and every DG, there must be a specific packing method. We must follow it, otherwise we can't take it into an aircraft, whether it is a normal passenger flight or it is a cargo flight. So this is because improper packing can be endanger the aircraft and passenger. It may cause the safety of the passenger as well as the aircraft itself. So the IATA DGR therefore provide packing instruction for all dangerous goods acceptable for transport with a wide range of options for inner, outer and single packaging. So there is a classification for packaging. There is inner, outer and single packaging. How it is based on the nature of this DG. So on that base only, IATA is giving certain instruction how it is get packed, how it should be loaded in an aircraft. Next one is packing instructions normally require the use of UN performance tested specification packaging. So each packaging normally require the use of UN, that is United Nations number. It should be there in each and every packaging. Okay. Sometimes carriers do not use this packaging due to its high cost and accept the DG in very limited quantities. Sometimes the airlines, because of the high cost, the shippers are not bearing that huge amount. In that condition, they are not using this packaging, but still they are accepting the cargo, but under certain condition, means certain limited quantities. So in the IATA DGR itself, regulation itself, which is mentioned in certain quantities, it can be transported. In that case, sometimes the airlines are accepting the cargo. So next is marks and labels. So the package must be marked with predetermined marking as specified in the regulation and bear the required label to ensure the hazard can be quickly identified without documentation. So when we packing a consignment, it must be marked properly as well as labeled properly. Then only it will get easily we can identify what type of DG that we are transporting in an aircraft, and it also helps to identify the hazard materials according to their nature, and we can make certain prevention methods, prevention or precautions for avoid the dangerous situations and all. So this is to enable either the DG specialist or hazard material team to quickly determine the type of the DG and resolve the risk before it escalates. Before it arrives, they can take the certain precautions also. Okay. Next is declaration. So declaration is the important part because the entire responsibility that we are taking through this declaration. So proper declaration of DG by the shipper ensure that everyone in the transportation chain know the nature of the DG they are transporting, how to load and handle them properly, and what to do if an incident or accident occurs either in flight or on the ground. This is what the declaration means, because through the declaration, the shipper is taking the entire responsibility that who all are included in this chain who is transporting the DG to the aircraft. All are aware about the material which type of DG that is transporting and its nature and its behavior, and how to handle that particular DG, and what are the precautions should be taken if any conditions happen, if anything occurs, or otherwise if any incident and accident, what are the steps should be done. All must be aware about all these things. Why? Because through this declaration, the shipper is taking that the entire responsibility of that particular DG, because it is not a simple thing. It is an very important thing, because the huge responsibility under his shoulders is coming. So that is why declaration is an important part in this transportation of this DG. Next, classification, packaging, marking and labeling. Okay, all this comes under this transportation of DG. Classification of DG, that is DG are divided into 9 different hazard classes that we discussed. Some hazard classes are further divided into division, that is also we seen in the previous slides, which are indicated by decimals like 1.2, 1.3 and all like that. So where 1 represent the class and 2 represent the division of 1, means example 1.2, if it is a 1.2, 1 is the class 1 explosive and 2 is class 1 explosive subdivisions. Okay, IATA 3-letter cargo IMP, that is interline message procedure, which can seen in this DG. Codes are assigned to each class or divisions to facilitate recognition of the presence of DG on various flight documents such as cargo manifest and special load notification to captain, that is NOTAC. Here, this entire thing should be detailed in each and every document which is submitted to captain, that is notification to captain. Also, we are keeping it as a proper record for the future reference. Okay, why is like this? Because each thing represents its each value. Like here, you can see the IATA is giving 3-letter code, that is IMP, interline message procedure. Without this 3-letter code, they can't assign each class, which class represent which category. So it can be detailed mentioned in that. So IATA manual representing all these things, includes all these things. We can, when we refer that manual, we can see each class is containing each nature, each material, which procedures are there. So you must follow it, and that code should be present in that particular package or consignment. Okay, that's why it is showing that classification is very much important. At the same time, it should be mentioned in that particular box also, consignment also. Next is packing, marking and labeling, which we discussed in the earlier slides. Packing DG are packed in packages designed to withstand without leakage the conditions encountered during air transport. So packing is the main thing which covered the entire area of that particular dangerous goods. Okay, it should not be spilled, it should not be leakage, should not be vibrant, or everything should be mentioned when should be taken care of during the time of packaging. The package can either be single packages, example drums, or combination packages, example fireboard boxes with inner receptacle. Package can further be over packed or convenient handling. The DGR specifies the packaging requirement for each hazard class and it is to be adhered to without exceptions. Each and everything should be labeled and marked properly. Then only they should, we can say that every precaution should be taken without exception. Most hazard classes have 3 packing groups indicating the degree of danger the items or substance presents. So according to their behavior or the nature of the DG, there must be 3 category of packaging is there. 3 packaging groups indicating the degree of danger items or substance presents. These are packing group 1, that is great danger. So if it is a category of packing group 1, then we can see there is a very high danger matter that we are transporting. Second thing, packing group 2, that is medium danger. There is a danger is there, but it can be affordable, or it could be if proper precautions are taken, then we can transport. Third one, packing group 3, that is minor danger, very minor danger happen. So that is also we are classified into packing group 3. So 3 main groups are there for the packing, that is group 1, group 2 and group 3 according to the nature of the danger, according to the nature of danger, at the same time according to the nature of the DG. First one is, so in that classification, first one is packages, second one is marking. So packages containing DG are normally identified with specified marking. As I told you earlier, without marking we can't identify which class or which category it belongs to. And special hazard label intended to alert you to the risk inherent in the content. Correct markings and labeling of DG packages is an important element in the safe transport process. So marking and labels fulfill the following general purpose. So that is why we are saying marking and labeling is very, very important in this classification and the handling of the DG. First one, indicate the content of the packages, what it consists of, that we can indicate through this marking and labeling. Second one, indicate that the packaging needs to meet approved standard, whether it is approved to the standard through the seal or the main label. We can identify whether it is maintained, which they are following the IATA rules and regulation, which they are keeping the certain standards, that we can understand through this labeling and marking. Provide safe handling and storage information. In that entire labeling, it is purely mentioned about the storage method and the handling method, everything. Indicate the nature of hazards. It is also indicate through different labels or marking, which is representing the the hazard information that they are passing to us. Next is the cargo agent, freight forwarders and operators, DG acceptance staffs are required to make sure all packages are correctly marked and labeled before accepting the consignment. We all know that packing, labeling, marking, everything is important. But who all are participating or involving in these requirements or methods? That's what here we are discussing. Main persons or main agents or main chain is cargo agents. Okay, the main important part is cargo agents. Second one, freight forwarders, they are also including in this. And third one, operator, who's airline operators. They are all having certain responsibilities for all this packing, labeling and marking, because without this an airline can't accept it. Without this, the cargo agent can't transport the cargo. Without this, the freight forwarder cannot transport the cargo. So this is what happening. So all 3 main people are involved in this procedure of packing, labeling and marking. So for each package and overpack containing DG that requires marking, the shippers must check that the required markings are applied in the correct location on the package and that they meet the quality and specification requirements of the regulation. They must check whether it is meeting, these markings are meeting according to the standard level, whether they are meeting the entire, they are marking in the proper location, they are packaging according to their standards, are they meeting all the qualities which is mentioned as per the IATA DGR. All these things should be checked thoroughly. Ensure that where specification packaging is required, the markings are specified. They must make sure that this specification packages are specifiedly marked accordingly like that, otherwise it should not be taken for the transportation. Fine. Next one is remove or obliterate any irrelevant marking. We must remove all this irrelevant marking. It is not according to the proper standard. It should be removed it. We should keep the proper marking. Ensure that all of the required markings have been applied when the package is presented to the operator. We must ensure this, all these people must ensure that these markings have been applied in each DG packages. These are the main criteria should followed by all the three main members, that is cargo agents, freight forwarders and the operators, before accepting or before transporting the DG. Next, marking, it is classified into two types. There are two types of marking. First one is marking that is identify the use of particular shipment. Every DG package must be marked with proper name, the UN or ID number, that is United Nations ID number, and the full name and address of the shipper and consignee. In the case of an unpackaged article, the marking must be displayed on the article, on its cradle or its handling or storage or launching devices. That must be mandatory. Each and every marking should be visibly, we can see, and the entire detail should be there. Shipper's name, the proper address, UN, ID number, shipper and consignee's address, everything should be displayed properly in that particular package. Marking that identifies, second type is marking that identify the design or a specification of packing when UN specification packaging is used. This marking must be stamped or printed or otherwise marked on the package to provide adequate permanency. In addition to proper labeling, all package should have three mandatory marking, that is proper shipping name, United Nation or ID number, full name and address of the shipper consignee. The second type of marking, it's specifically mentioned that proper shipping name must be there, United Nation ID number, full name and address of the shipper and consignee should be visibly seen in this packages. Okay. This one is UN marking. As you can see in the image, UN packaging bears a specific UN marking as shown in the sample UN box below here. The UN marking explanation as follow. Here you can see this class 3 flammable liquids image. Okay. And also one more classes are there, that is corrosive. Corrosive class 8 corrosive image is also there in this package. Here you can see the UN ID number and here it is written flammable liquid. Okay, and what the content also, it is not clearly visible here. And here you can see UN identification number also. Okay, these are all specifically mentioned in this particular package. And here okay, you can see one more label, that is upside label, it's there. That means this package should be kept in this manner, otherwise it will, some leakage or spillage may happen. So this is the main detailing of the marking and labeling. Okay, you can see all these things. First, number 1, that is orientation label, that is based on the content of this cargo. Second one, primary class label, class 2, here primary class, class 2. Third one, standardized UN certification according to standard. Third one, here this is UN number. You can see U is written upside and N, under that is N, is UN number. Number 4, shipping name. Okay, here is the shipping name. Okay, again 5, UN number. Here is 5, there is UN number. 6, subsidiary class. If there is any other classes is there. that is also class 8. Subsidiary class label also there. These are the main thing content in this particular package. It is clearly visible and we can see it is clearly, we can identify what this package is contain, and it is whether it is meeting the standard or not. Second, packaging. Okay, here also it's mentioned different labels here. You can see first one is class 8 corrosive. Next is this is cargo aircraft only, means it can be transported only in cargo aircraft. We can't take it in a passenger flight. Okay. This one is hazardous label. We all know that is class 8. Cargo aircraft only means that is representing only the aircraft, cargo aircraft that is carrying this, using this cargo. UN number. Here is a UN number. Okay. Proper shipping name. Who is belongs? There is proper shipping name. Corrosive liquid, acidic or organic, NOS, all these things are shipping names are properly mentioned here. Technical name. This is the technical name. What is the exact content? Okay, this is a chloride. Again, UN marking. Here is a UN marking. You can see U and N. U and N. This is the number. Okay. And next one. Next is packaging orientation. Here you can see the number. That's upside arrow. Again, name and address of the shipper here. This is the entire detail or the entire address of the shipper here. And name and address of the consignee, the person who is going to receive this consignment, that is name and address of the consignee. Okay. And again, here it's contained the quantity, how the quantity, how much it is, how much its quantity is. That quantity is 10 liter. 10 liter of the corrosive or corrosive liquids is contained in this package. This is what represent. Okay. All this detailed mention in this particular packages, and it can be it is labeled also, it's properly marked also. So entire thing is in this particular consignment, just detailed, it's given in this particular consignment for the transportation in an aircraft. Next is coming labeling. Okay, so hazard and handling labeling packages containing dangerous goods must be properly labeled to indicate their content. There are two types of labels. Okay, we know that there are two types of labels. One is hazard label, other one is handling label. Here, in the previous image, we can see there are two types of label. One is hazard label, other one is handling label. Okay, this is handling label. Okay, this is also handling label. So handling label is always in a rectangular shape and hazard label is always in a diagonal shape. Please keep it in your mind. The hazard and handling labels package containing dangerous goods must be properly labeled to indicate their content. There are two types of label, hazard label and handling label. The various DG label explained in the classification session. We know that 9 classes are there, all are hazard label. Handling labels. Certain DG require specific handling labels in addition to hazard label because they need to be handled or loaded in a particular manner. Okay, they must be in a particular manner they should handle. So in that case, we can give a handling label. Magnetized material. For example, magnetized material. These materials have relatively high magnetic field strength. Okay, so we can see how it's look like. This is the magnetized material. And you can see the shape of a magnet, it's image of a magnet and also compass. And why it is written here? Keep away from aircraft compass dictator unit because it may deviate the exact compass position in the aircraft. So it may affect the compass location. So that's the reason why it is showing keep away from the aircraft compass dictator unit. Okay, so we must keep these such kind of items in a different position or a different manner, and the package should be according to that level. That's why it's showing like this, magnetized material. Another image, cargo aircraft only label. This is also another type of label. Okay, cargo aircraft only means forbidden in passenger aircraft. We can't take this cargo or this DG in the passenger aircraft. That's why it is showing like this type of label here. It is a handling label. Okay, and it is a hazardous label. That is a class 9. It's showing miscellaneous. Cargo aircraft only must be used on packages that are permitted only on cargo aircraft. Okay, hope you all understand till this. This is another handling label, this way up label. You know that how we must keep a package or must keep a consignment inside an aircraft. by seeing this, we come to know that it must be in a straight position. So package orientation, this way up label must be used on combination packages and over packs containing liquid dangerous goods that can be leaked and cause fire or damage to property. If there is a chance of leakage or spillage, or if there is a causing a damage of other property, we must put this type of label here. Okay, that is handling label. Another type of label, keep away from heat label. Okay, this indicate that we should keep away from the high temperature and all. So keep away from heat label must be used in addition to the applicable hazard. Label on packages are over packs containing self-reactive substances. So there are certain substances with self-reactive. I told you that like class 2 gases also, at the same time flammable solid also, when it comes in contact with the air or water, it will get combusted. Okay, so sometimes the variation of the pressure, it will get combusted. There are certain category of classes of DGs are there. So in that DG, we keep this type of label, keep away from heat. Okay. Next is radioactive material expected package. So in each radioactive material, we must adhere the certain type of label. I show you like this. Radioactive material expected package. There is package. This is the image. And this package contain radioactive material expected package and in all respect in compliance with applicable international and national government regulation. And it's also mentioned the UN number also we will mention here. Okay. And this information for this package need not appear on the notification to captain. It's not visible to this captain. I mean not mentioned in the not. So that is also mentioned here. So radioactive material, some delegate type of DG, which should be transported under restricted procedure. Okay. So radioactive material expected package indicate package consists of radioactive material in limited quantities or empty packages and instruments or articles that contain radioactive materials. Okay. Dangerous goods is expected quantities. So this marks must be applied on packages of DG shipped according to the provision of expected quantities. So certain dangerous good that we are transporting in an aircraft in an expected quantity, even it is highly dangerous also, we are taking it in a limited quantity and we are transporting it. In that case, we are putting the label like this. You can see red and white diagonals, lines over there, and the round red, it is showing a E, letter E. That is expected quantity, and here the star is mentioning here is a primary class number. So what all classes are there? Maybe class 1 and its subdivisions also, but it not visibly we can see. It will be in a hidden position, hidden manner. It will be like this. And name and address of the shipper and the consignee is also not shown anywhere. It is also in a hidden manner we can see here. Okay. Next one is environmentally hazardous label, which may cause the environmental anything harm for the environment, or it may cause hazardous to the environment. Then we can put a label like this. Here we can see a tree, it's a dry tree, and a fish. Okay, that is also indicating that it is danger to the environment. Okay, so environmentally hazardous, that is packages containing environmentally hazardous substance. Then we put a label like this before transporting in an aircraft. Okay, next showing live animal. We already have a session regarding this live animal and its transportation. So live animal, trolleys loaded with live animals should be marked and labeled with the label as shown. In that session also I informed that each and every pet's cabin or the containers we should put a label. So this is how the label looks like, live animal. So you can see the animal pictures are indicating in this label. There is dog, chicks and all, everything like tortoise, okay, fish, everything is there, label is there, and we can mention the content over here. Okay, finally we are coming to the conclusion that DG are defined as goods that meet the criteria of one or more of 9 UN hazard classes and were applicable to one or the 3 UN packing groups. Some hazard classes are further subdivided into hazard divisions due to the wide scope of the classes. The order in which they are numbered in for convenience and does not imply a relative degree of danger. The importance of proper marking and labeling of dangerous goods was also described here in this in this detailed DGR. And PGSA, that is passenger ground service agent, must be alert when they find a DG label or marking in a passenger's baggage which may or may not contain DG. However, you must avoid any unauthorized transport of DG and alert the appropriate authorities. The specific hazard labels and marking on the package alert you to the risk inherent in the content. The proper and correct marking of the package leads to the safe transportation of the DG. So there are certain conditions when we are transporting a DG in an aircraft, because the DG consists of different classes. We know that 9 classes are there. Again, they have subdivisions, and if we are transporting the DG, but there are certain criteria are there, and the regulation which must be included in the IATA DGR must followed by certain persons, freight forwarders, cargo agents, shipper, operators, everyone must follow the same thing. And there are proper packing, labeling, marking, everything should be there for the transportation of the DG. And there are the classification of the DG itself. It is a forbidden DG, restricted DG, and allowed DG is there. So there are certain conditions we can carry DG in passenger, but most time we are taking the DG in only in the cargo flights. So these are the criteria which is explained in this IATA manual, and we are following it. Definitely the agents or the shipper who are taking the entire responsibility for the transportation of the DG must follow this entire criteria when they are transporting DG in an aircraft. This is why we are saying DG is an important topic in this air cargo session, and we must by heart all these 9 classes and subdivisions also. That's it. So thank you.